Welcome back to the channel, everybody. On today's menu, we've got this 2024 Road Glide. It's got the 117 engine in it. It currently has a ThunderMax and a Bassani header. We're going to be installing the Cycle-Rama 574 cam. We're going to be putting in a Darkhorse Compensator and a Trask clutch kit to keep this thing from slipping. So hang in there and we'll get started. All right, we've got the Darkhorse Compensator, the Mueller Power Clutch 2.0, and the Trask Performance Clutch Kit. All right, now this is not an instructional video. What this is for entertainment purposes only. So if you enjoy watching motorcycle stuff on your phone or on the TV, you're a Harley guy, this will be interesting. But everybody does things their own way. There is a manual available if you should choose to tackle a job like this. But this is not meant to be a training video or an instructional video or any of that kind of stuff. I'm just your friend doing something in his garage, so hang in there with me. Let's go through this. First thing I'm going to do is drain the Earl. E-A-R-L, Earl. And we'll let that drain. All right, we'll put that over here on our magnetic tray. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this shifter, but before I do that, I always like to put a little indexing mark right here so that I get it lined back up. That Sharpie can be removed very easily with some carb cleaner, so it's not permanent. I mean, it's permanent marker, but it's not going to stay on there. All right, so let's take our trusty Allen and remove this outer shifter. All right. It popped right out. How about that?
How about that?
That should do it. All right, I'm going to start by taking the outer primary off. This is just me being picky again. You've seen me do this in videos before. I'm going to lay these quarter 20s out in a specific fashion so that I put them back in the same place. Is that necessary? No. It's just me being me. One other trick that I've learned over the years, and this is not for seasoned mechanics, this is for the everyday guy. If you don't make sure that your Allen is seated all the way in there, they'll strip out before you know it. They'll strip out before you know it. So one thing I like to do is leave one up top and take the rest of them out. But I'll leave a space over here in my order for that one. The reason why I do that is to kind of keep the cover from falling off as I'm taking out screws. Another thing I like to do is to use pig mat to catch oil droppings in that. And it sure helps out. It'll absorb the oil that may be extra. All right. All right, that one goes there. Now let's see if we can get this off here. Just like that. All right, here we go. Now, first thing we're going to do is, if you'll notice, right here, right there, you've got a pin or a tab and a pin or a tab. See that right there? Those two things. Now watch this. If I take a zip tie and go around those two pins like this, that will keep this tensioner in its original position. And when I take it out, I won't have to worry about it. How about that?
How about that?
Some of these have spacers behind the tensioner, some of them don't. So I'm going to watch to see if this one does or doesn't. I've never memorized what your models do and what your models don't. I just know that some of them have them, so I'm aware of it. Okay, this one did not have the spacers behind it. So we're good with that. Now that leaves us slack here. So we're good to go up to this point. All right, it's time to get Bertha out. Big Bertha. All right, Bertha, go to town. How about that?
How about that?
All right.
All right.
Now, we can go get the new Darkhorse. All right, there's the new Darkhorse Compensator right there. And it will replace this inferior unit. What happens on these things, on the stock ones, this is all cast metal, poured into a mold, if you will. And it's not strong. And what happens a lot of times, if not half the time, this thing will split into three pieces and it no longer makes a connection. So when you go to start your bike, this thing breaks and pretty much explodes apart. Then when you hit the starter, you're not spinning your engine, you're just spinning this around. You're not spinning the crank. So it's a precautionary change before it breaks on you and leaves you stranded in the Walmart parking lot. I know everybody shops at Walmart. All this comes off. It's not any of it, none of it's reused. This is a precision fit compensator, so you got to get it just right. There it goes. There we go. Get some red Loctite. All right.
All right.
Now that we got all that back together, we can put our adjuster back in. And our clip. Always want to push on it to make sure it goes in place.
That's what she said.
And it did. Okay, now we can go back and grab some blue Loctite. Always tighten these by hand. Make sure you don't have anything cross-threaded. Use blue Loctite on these smaller fasteners, red on the larger fasteners. All right, and remember our zip tie. Pop that right off. It's back to normal. Okay.
Okay.
Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the Trask clutch kit. All right, and it's a straightforward install. First thing we're going to do is remove these 3 screws and the spring. The springs will come right out. You want to do it in stages, a little bit at a time. All right. We'll lay that down for a moment. Grab our new kit. All right, these Trask kits are really, really good. The situation here is going to be the springs are a lot stronger than stock, and so along with that we're going to be installing the Mueller Power Clutch kit to kind of offset these stronger springs. This kit is good, according to Trask, for up to 200 horsepower. So I think a 117 with a 574 cam and a ThunderMax should be within that range, I would think. Okay, now I did put just a dab.
A little dab will do you.
Of blue on each of these fasteners. Not much, I didn't overload it. All right. And I would guess that's probably going to be a 1/4 inch 12 point. It's either a 5/16. Yeah, it might be a 5/16. Let's see if it's a 5/16. Yep. How about that?
How about that?
So I'm just going to run these in a little bit at the time by hand. All right.
All right.
And that is that. So let's go back on with the primary cover. And like I said, I'll come back and pull the derby cover off because I got to put fluid in it anyway. And we'll be able to adjust the clutch that way. Okay?
Okay.
So now I'm going to start in the same order or similar order with these Allens. We'll put a little bit of blue here, just a dab. It don't take much.
A little dab will do you.
All right. Same thing with this one. Just a little dab.
A little dab will do you.
Something like that. Doesn't take much. Okay, so now I'll go ahead and pre-lock tight each one of these bolts with just a drop. All right.
All right.
All right, now that we've got all those tightened down, we can put our foot peg back, our floorboard back where it belongs. Now let's put our shifter back. We know where it's going to go because we have our index marks on here. Just like that. Okay, that should do that. All right, now let's go ahead and pull the derby cover off. Let me grab a T27 and a quart of primary. And just like on the Allen heads, these Torx can really be tough. These aren't so bad, but they strip pretty easy. You got to make sure there's no debris in the head of the screw. Got to make sure you're parallel with the screw. Can't be cocked up like this or like that. You got to be straight on. You got to be applying pressure that way, pretty heavy pressure, and then usually they'll come loose. But if you get one that's stripped, or if you strip one and it don't come loose, get out your chisel and hammer and get to chiseling. You can get it out, but it's going to take some work. Never had one break off in there, but I ain't saying it hadn't happened either. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and put this quart of primary in there, but not before I put in the drain plug. I'm going to put a little bit of goop on here, thread goop. That helps seal it. Okay. Okay. Now, wipe off my mechanic evidence here. All right. Let me grab a funnel and we'll put a quart of primary oil in here. All right, and I'm just going to leave this open for right now. We've got some other work to do as far as the clutch cable goes and that before I put the derby cover back on. But now we know we're almost fully completed with this primary work. So on to the clutch cable. All right, next we are going to take the header off, saddlebag, breather, and side cover, floorboard, cam cover, and get prepared to put this cam in. I also have to pull the transmission cover off so we can put the Mueller Power Clutch in. So what I'm about to do is step on the gas real fast, put it in high gear, and do all that boring stuff. And then when I get back, I'll put on the brakes and come right back. Hang in there. Well, as you can see, just about every tool in the toolbox was pulled out just to get the headers off. No big deal. Did have to take the heat shields off the front to get to the nuts on the exhaust flange. So that's the reasoning for taking the heat shields off. That's a tight fit up in there with the center cooled heads, the water hoses and stuff. But we're going to go ahead now and work on this Mueller Power Clutch. So be right back. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull this cover off right here, this one, and let some of the oil drain out. It ain't going to be a whole lot, and that'll give us access to the bottom part of the equation. Looks like he's got the shockproof stuff in the transmission. That's good oil if you never used it. It's expensive though, About 20 bucks a quart, but it's good. It's one of those oils that you can definitely tell you're using it. But we'll have to replenish his entire amount because there's a lot coming out. That's brand new. Looks like he just changed. I think I talked to him. He said he had just changed it. So that will be what that will be. All right, let me grab my big ring pliers here, and I'll see if I can't get you a little bit closer so you can see what's going on. All right, maybe that angle will help. So what we have to do is there's a clip in here, a circlip, and you just go in there with a set of pliers, squeeze that clip down, put your fingers over it so it don't go flying everywhere, and pull it right out like that. Lay it down for use later. Okay, that will then allow you to pull out the top part of the ramp here like this, and it just kind of undoes itself from right there. That's not going to be reused. This part will be reused, but we're going to lay it down for right now. And then here's the rest of the equation. All right, there's the bottom or outer part of the ramp. Now, this is the Mueller Power Clutch 2.0. All right, I'm going to pull this ramp out. Don't look like they have balls in there, but I digress. It doesn't look like this ramp has balls, but I can promise you it does. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to rob these bearings. I'm going to rob the balls from the stock ramp. All right, and I'm just going to sit it back down into the place that it came from originally. There's a little slot there that it'll line up on, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to take this piece, put it back on. The only reason I took it off is just so it wouldn't go flying everywhere. And then we'll come back in and put that back just like that. And then I'm going to come in here with the big giant clip. Always put your hand over it because you don't want it to go flying. And it will go right back where it came from. Just like that. Now we're going to align these clips back to about to where they were. I don't know if it makes any difference, but we're going to put them there just like that. All right, now that job's finished. That job is finished, so we're going to put that back together. But before we do that, I'm going to try to clean up some of this oil here because it might not be able to get to it when the cover's back on it. The gasket looks good. This is a brand new bike, so there's no damage on the gasket. So I think we're going to go back with that. I don't see a big problem there at all. All right, let's get that stuff right there wiped off. And I'll spray some cleaner in there and get the rest of that little bit out. All right. Okay. Now, let's go back on with the cover. There's little alignment pins on there. Just like that. All right, let's go right back with that one. All right, let me grab some blue Loctite while that one bolt holds it on. And we'll blue Loctite the rest of the fasteners. Just going to take a dab because we all know
A little dab will do you.
all right.
All right.
All right, maybe that will do for cleanliness. Okay, so the next part of this project is going to be doing the metal conversion of this plastic part right here. So I'm gonna get everything pulled out so you can see it, and we'll go from there. Okay, so after removing the cover here, slide it up, this cable already has the proper adjuster in it. There's no reason to replace it because this acts just like a standard cable adjuster, which we did adjust the cable and adjust the clutch. So it is now ready to go. The Mueller Power Clutch 2 is installed. All right, let's move on to the cam.